Happy Thursday, everyone. MovieStar motivation here for you. Focus on your habits and daily actions instead of your goals, and it will take care of the second thing, believe it or not. So last time we talked about you acting like the person that you want to become right now. So if you did that for even one day, which hopefully you've done it for a couple of days by now, but if you did that for one day, one thing that is inescapable is that that person that you want to become, that best version, makes different choices and does different actions every day than you do right now, right? Great, okay? Now that you've figured out those things, write them down, be they daily or weekly, because they should fit in one of those two categories, and then just start doing them. Start doing them all the time. The reason you want to start doing them, as opposed to the way that I used to do it, which I'll get to in a moment, is you control much better the things you do over a given day, over a given week, as opposed to some big lofty goal out there. Right, in the past, right, you set some goal. I want to be in shape. I want to be this, that, or the other thing, right? That's fine. All those goals are great. But a lot of times, at least in the past for me, I would just ruminate over that goal. For example, one of my goals for this year, and hear me out, by July 1st, I want to be back to 225 pounds. I have work to do, no question. But rather than just focusing on that, which I did last year and got injured and got off track, you focus on that, you just ruminate on that. And yeah, you take action, it helps, but it's not as consistent because other things come up. Instead of focusing on that, I think, okay, when you wake up in the morning, what would a person, me, who's in that kind of shape, what would they eat on a daily basis? Do that. What would their workout habits be like on a weekly basis? Do that. So that means that every day and every week I can schedule out things, I can focus on what I can control. And if I execute those daily habits and those weekly habits, at the end of that week, I have taken a nice step forward to my goal. It doesn't sound sexy, but it's something that I can control a lot more than other variables. If you want to be a black belt, if you want to be a world champion, if you want to be a championship knock Muay, if you want to just fight Lumpini or whatever, don't focus on that part. Have that goal, set it, great. But then you go back to the training we're doing now. What does that version of me do on a daily and a weekly basis? Instead of ruminating on being a black belt, what does a black belt do as far as training on a daily basis or a weekly basis? What do they do as far as nutrition? What do they do as far as stretching? What do they do as far as film study? And do that over the course of the next 3 to 5 days to week to whatever. Because what will happen is, after that first week, let's say you eat right 6 out of 7 days, you train 4 days that week, you put in some film study or some book study, whatever it is, however you study or consume jiu-jitsu. When you do that, at the end of that week, you have taken a serious step towards your goal. You just don't see it. But you stack that week on top of the next week, on top of the following week, on top of the next 20 weeks, on top of the next maybe 50 weeks, who knows, right? When you stack those on top of each other, just focusing on the thing that you can control, your daily actions, your weekly actions, you will make such amazing progress. You'll be a black belt before you know it. And you did it because rather than focusing and ruminating on the end result, the outcome, the goal, you focus on what you can control, which are the daily actions, the daily choices that you can make, that ideal version, that best version of you makes. So for this week, guys, now you have new goal, you have new habits and actions that you have learned, or keep learning for the rest of this week. Start acting like that person that you want to become. Pick up, find out what those habits are that person does different than what you're doing today. Once you have those down, write them down, put them in the categories as far as daily or weekly. Daily is, again, what you're eating, how you're training your body, how you're stretching. Weekly might be training goals, competition, stuff like that, whatever it is. But when you separate like that and you focus just on what you can control, you give all the power back to yourself as far as what you're going to achieve. You let go about outcomes. You let that go because the outcome will take care of itself if you're doing the stuff you can control and doing it to the best of your abilities. Be a movie star every day, guys. Focus on your habits and daily actions rather than your goals, and you'll get your goals much sooner.